Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are. Welcome again to Big Data Days 2024. My name is John Wee, and I am your host for Track 2. We are very privileged today to have our honored guest, Mr. Kasam Shaikh, who is the Senior Cloud Architect for Capgemini. By the way, he's also a most valuable professional in Azure AI as well. So today we have a very, very interesting topic, which I'm also eager to learn from Mr. Kasam, is a quick workshop on prompt engineering. Is it an art, a science, or your next job title? So I'm quite curious as well. Hi, Kasam. Welcome to the webinar itself. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi, John. Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm all good. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
All right. So I'm going to hand it over to you because I find this topic really interesting because, I mean, we all heard about this prompt engineering thing, right? So hopefully you can actually enlighten a lot of the audience here today, including myself, to learn from you actually what is this thing called prompt engineering, right? I think that's going to be an interesting topic. So I'm going to stop sharing my slide. I'm going to hand over that to you now so that you can actually take us through this quick workshop to really talk about, or like I said, enlighten us. What is this prompt engineering, right? There you go. Okay, I see your slides are up. All right, over to you, Kasam.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you again. And thank you, everyone, for joining. So, as said, yes, that's a very interesting topic, prompt engineering. And I would like to mention it like it's a topic with most of the myths which comes along with it. Okay, like what it is all about, whether it's an kind of new art, it's a new altogether about the science, or yes, of course, could be a job title. So we will talk much about it, and rather than having more talk on it, we will try to use it. Okay, I have prepared a nice workshop for you all, and with having few slides. Okay, the first few slides I will share a link wherein you can log in yourself, and then we will uh, try to uh, work out with the prompts, and we'll try to interact with the models and see how it works, how it behaves and all. Of course. Okay, so that would be a kind of interesting one rather than just going with slides. So to start with, I am Kasam Sheikh. I'm in Microsoft MVP AI. I work as a senior architect and Gen AI SME at Capgemini India, and I'm an author. uh, I'm an MCT, and I run an uh, community, Azure AI community in India with the name Dear Azure. This is my short intro. Those are the coordinates for the Twitter, LinkedIn, and GitHub. We can connect anytime. And if you have any doubts, we can again join and have some interesting discussions. Okay, to start with this, then, as I said, I will just go through few slides in the beginning, and then we can jump into workshop, which we can take more time over there. But to just set the context of what we are going to see and what we are going to deep dive into it. So this is all about AI. You must have seen this slide, but I have selected few of the slides which I thought would be better for today's session, just before getting into that workshop. Okay, so as you know, artificial intelligence is not a new thing. Like it's not about coming in, which I've came up in 2 or 3 years. It's about 50s, 1950s era when it was first coined. Okay, and then in 2090s, 2000, that came machine learnings, which started learning with the data, and without actually programming it, it started learning the data which was given to them, and then it came up as in deep learning, like the neural networks and all. And about the new thing in the sense, the topic which we are talking about, or a thing which we will be talking about, generative AI. So generative AI is a kind of subset of AI. Okay, so basically generative AI is enables us to create a kind of new content, text, codes, and many things. So this is just a very simple high level stuff of what is it. It's a very big stuff, but yes, to just to make you understand or just to have a light gist of it, uh, that's what is Gen AI. And it's all about, it all depends upon, or it's all running about the foundation models. So what is foundation models? It is basically trained. And now I assume you are aware, or you are you know this kind of jargons, models and all this stuff. That's the reason I'm just running a bit fast into this and not getting into what are models and all those stuff. Okay. Because I want to invest more time in that workshop rather than these slides. So it is all about training the data. It is all about how you get the data into it. Okay. It could be the internet text, it could be the GitHub rep, or like the coding, open source repos, codes, uh, any data, any many things, the telemetry data, the IoT. There are huge data around, and that is what it is, how it's trained and how it is being feeded or seeded into it to get most out of interesting task or interesting engagements from it. Maybe kind of finding out the sentiment stuff, or extracting some information, or summarizing the text, or recognizing some object, many things. Like, it is just few of the adaptations which are being few of the tasks which has been listed over here, and there are n numbers of things. And I would like to know if you have something new or interesting task that you can think can be a part of this Gen AI, or this open AI models and different models. Just try to ping it in the chat, or we can discuss it later. So uh, now we have many models, GPT-4, Turbo, many things. Okay, so it is all about, I just GPT-3 was one of the most famous you know uh, you can say kind of models which was known to the outer world, maybe due to chat GPT, or at that hype trend at that time. So it has something around 175 billions of parameters in it. So it is all about that data and all, which again took a very huge amount of compute to get it trained. Now it has 175 billion data, and the human brain has 300x of this parameters to know. Okay, so it is all about, it is being seen when basically when working with these models and all, like the huge, it can get scaled when we have huge compute to get it trained. And it was useful, or it was very much helpful to do or to perform many of the tasks, and not just NLP but many of the tasks, which can be, which used to be happen, like using some different sort of models, algorithms, small subsets. But when we use this foundation models as a part of the backend stuff, or the main data source stuff, sorry for this, main as a data source stuff, uh, this took, or this performed very well in answering or in responding to them. Okay, so this is where a very what is all about, it's just about the parameter stuff and just about the computing stuff. Okay, now how this language works actually, like when we are talking about language foundation models and all these things, how it really works. So there is something known as a kind of a natural language input. Okay, just an input with a common language. It could be English, it could be any language. Okay, and this language, or this input, we can say this natural language input, goes in the form of tokens. Now what is tokens, we will see in for coming slides. Like, just to understand what how it works, like this natural language are you can say processed as a tokens in the models. The probabilities and all those distribution happens. Okay, it gets the result from that tokens, again decoded, and send you, give you back the response in a form of natural language output again. So I'm not talking in any terms of kind of data scientist or something. No, I'm talking in a very uh, plain language, okay, a very natural language to understand the things. I don't want to get into more technicalities over here. It's better to, I always prefer to be, I try to be more simple when trying to explain the things rather than getting. You can, yes, absolutely, you need to know the more basics into it, know for more fundamentals, which I will share the links at the end, which you can go and read more about the stuff, like how it works and how the things are done, everything. Okay, but now to just to understand, like when we try to deal with the models, when we say that we are talking with the models, we are taking something from the models, how that thing actually works. So it's a natural language input getting processed as a tokens, getting with the tokens deals with that models or the pre-process, what are the processing is happening, it pre-process, decodes and get backs as an NLP. Okay, so for example, when it comes to chat GPT, we write a natural language thing, and we get an reply accordingly whatever we have written as in part of natural language itself. So it's a kind of n number of tokens gets in, and based on that number of tokens, those probabilities, we get one sort of word or one token again comes out. So when you come to know what is token, you can understand what this n tokens and out in and out is happening. Okay, now this is something what is tokens. Okay, now this token is not a word, it's not a character, but it's a sequence of characters. Okay, now it could be a short character, it could be it could be a short sequence, it could be a long sequence, it could be a known sequence, it could be an unknown sequence kind of. So as you can see that it has differentiated in that highlighted it with different colors. So even that word we need to stop, these are different tokens. One, that V is one, need is second, two is third. But in the word like anthropomorphizing, it has three tokens in it. Maybe it is because it's more like it's a bit long, and or maybe it's an unknown stuff. Like what is this token? I'm not a data scientist as such, so I cannot get into more into this how this tokenization is happening. But this is what the tokens are. This is what how the model sees to your natural language input. Okay, now this what token I'm talking about, it's uh kind of disclaimer, like it is mostly I'm talking about the OpenAI models here. Okay, and this token or this calculations of tokens can differ with different models. Okay, now what I'm talking or what I am just explaining here is more about OpenAI models. So you can see that link, right, that platform.openai.com/tokenizer. It's a very nice interface, a browser interface where you can just go and enter some kind of inputs or text, and it will show you like how that text is getting into the how it is calculated into tokens. Now one interesting stuff, this tokens is what is the you can say the unit of pricing when you are dealing with models. Okay, so basically when you deal with any models using uh, any of the models like GPT-3, 4, the number of tokens which are passed, which are sent and received, based on that the pricing happens. Okay, so this tokens plays a very important role. And why it will play an important role, of course, the first it is associated with the pricing, and second we will see. Okay, so that is what how it works. This number of tokens gets in and comes out. Okay, so we how it processes, basically now there are some, as you can see, n number of tokens gets in and then one is out. Then the response, like the entire stuff, it's a kind of that the entire stuff is used as next input tokens. Like first here it was we need to, and the output was stop. Then we need to stop, and the output was something anthrop. Then we need to stop anthrop and anthromorph. So this is how it basically builds up what the response would be, builds up how the things would be given as an output, all, and it gets stopped at a point, maybe based on what input we have given to stop at some place. Okay, now interacting with LLMs. So prompt engineering. So before we know what is prompt engineering, let's know what is prompts. Okay, so I was talking about natural language input, the inputs which goes converts into token, the inputs which we give, and all those stuff. The inputs, whatever thing we sent as a part of our input to the models is known as prompts. Okay, so we can say uh, English is the new programming language for us. Okay, or any of the language which we deals with is the new programming language, or rather, to make it more short, our natural language is a new programming language, because that only deals with models. So to deals with models, we don't have to convert or write some kind of programming language as such. No, it's a plain natural language text, plain inputs, and that is what prompts are all about. Now, what is prompt engineering? So this was a kind of definition which was simple, but I like the most. There is one definition from prompt engineering. It's all about. So prompt engineering is designing, refining, and optimizing your prompts or your inputs to the language models to get a desired output. Okay, in a cost efficient way. Right? It's designing, means writing from scratch, a natural language, writing from scratch. Okay, it's designing, refining, keep it on changing until you get your desired output. Okay, optimizing it, making, once you get the output, making it bit short, making it bit crisp, all those things comes uh, simple, or how easily, how crisp you're asking, you're talking to your models to get your desired output. It's all about prompt engineering. So prompts are nothing but your inputs, your not normal text which you are talking, which you are dealing with your uh, LLMs, or which you are dealing with your models. And prompt engineering is something to make sure that whatever prompt you are passing on is providing you your desired output from the models. So again, like where we were, it was all about prompts. Okay, so prompts and prompt engineering. So this is where the difference lies. Okay, so prompts is not about prompts engineering. Prompts engineering is not just prompt. So these are two different things. Basically, this is one of the myth that comes always. Okay, that prompts and prompts engineering are same. No, prompts is something which you are dealing, or which you're talking with, or which you're writing, or which you're passing it as an input to your LLMs or any of your models. Prompt engineering is something what you are giving an efficient prompt or efficient input that is giving you a desired output. Okay, so hope this is bit clear what is prompt and prompt engineering. Okay, now of course this we have a very interesting uh, OpenAI, Azure OpenAI service, which deals with all the kind of contents, maybe at a plain text, it could be some kind of code, or it could be kind of some sort of images which can be taken as a part of by using APIs or SDKs or keys. Okay, it's a very cool service. I would, if you have not used it anytime, I would request you to, I would advise it you rather that you can just sign up for it and try to use this and see the magic, see how it solves your problem with a very season. Now these are I believe we can come to this slide later. Okay, um or rather, let's go now. I don't want to jump it from again browser to slides and all. So these are some of the practices, or some of the principles, or some of the techniques of how you do this prompts. When I talk about, when we say about the input, or optimizing it, or refining it, so this is one of the thing how we deal with models. Okay, so there is something known as zero shot prompting. Now don't worry about this kind of jargon, zero shot. When you come to know what it is all about, it's a very simple terms, just branded with some names. Okay. So when I say zero shot, just keep in mind zero examples. You're talking to someone, you're talking to the model with zero examples. Now, as you can see, I have just given the headline, and I'm expecting a topic, expecting an output for this topic from the models. Okay, so I've just given an headline. I have not provided any of the examples what I am looking for, a kind of one word or big sentence or something sports associated. Nothing. It's just I have given an headline, and I am expecting a topic, and I will send it to the LLM. It will try to process, and it gave me some output based on its capabilities. So we gave coach confident injury won't derail warriors, and it gave some nice short output. Okay. Now there is something known as few shots. Now there is also known as one shot. That is not part of the slide. So there are zero shot. Zero shot means zero examples. You can just directly give something, talk without giving any setting any context as such to the models, and you get the output. Okay, there is something known as few shot. Few shots is, as I said, few example. Zero shot, zero example. Few shot, few example. One shot, one example. Okay, so now we are going to see few shot promptings. So when we'll go to that playground, actually go to that workshop browsers, we will see how this works. We will use those prompts, and we'll try to change it and see how the model works. Okay, so few shots. Now see, I have given headline, and I've also given the topic, that is in one word. Now if you notice the examples here, I say to the models that, see, I will pass the headlines, and I am expecting a topic in one word. Okay, I am expecting the name of the game these headlines are associated with. So the first one was something with the topic baseball, the second one was something with the topic soccer, the third is something with the topic football. Now we are giving the same input which we gave during the zero shot. Okay, and now we are expecting the topic. So now after giving some examples, the output got changed. Okay, now it gave us one word and the sport name associated with it. So this is how we optimize it. This is how we changed it. Okay, the input was same, and the outputs now are different. Okay, and this is something we gave, as we can also give some one example, and it should work. It may work. We give at some places, at some use cases, we need to give few examples, but make sure, understand, like whatever this input we are giving, this are counted as number of tokens. So this is where the cost will be associated. Okay, and this is how we need to optimize it to get this result as basketball for that particular input, with as much crisp and as much short with a context one, those output. Okay, so this is what we mention, or this is what we call as prompts engineering. Now there are many things. Okay, there are like prompt chunking, prompt chain of thoughts. There are many things which we will see during that our playground or workshop stuff. But this is what something we should know, because these are very basic things which you should know about the prompts when you deal with the models. Now here is a very interesting one: system prompts. Okay, now this came up mostly after GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. Okay, from GPT 3.5 and 3.4, system prompts. So, system prompts are basically prompts given to the model to set a context of what all thing you are going to talk about, or what are things you are going to chat about. Okay, for example, just just imagine you have a chatbot. Okay, on your website. Now you must have seen, right? There is an short description what this chatbot does. Like it will say it is an assistant to help you for the registration, kind of, or anything, any short assistant sort of. So it sets your context, like what this chatbot will do. Similarly, this system prompts set a context with your model before you deals with it. Okay, like whatever you are trying to chat, whatever trying to ask, it will set a background, it will set a context. Similarly, with the way we gave that examples, right, in the few shots and all, it's a kind of same thing. Like it will, you can set like you are a chatbot of so and so company, you are a friendly chatbot, or you are a sarcastic with a sarcastic tone, or you are a strict chatbot, or many things. You can just set your background or set your context with the models, and accordingly when you ask the question or when you chat with it, it will try to respond you. Okay, we'll see this live in action, so don't worry about it. So for example, see, uh, it's a normal user prompt, right? What can you tell me about, tell about me? And then it says sorry, because it doesn't know who is John, who is Doe, or something, right? So it's a very what we say. Uh, Basically, you must have heard a word hallucination, right? That was the uh, word of the year for 2023. So what happens, like whenever you ask something to the models, and if it doesn't know, it gives you some, it makes some creative content and give you some, hallucinates the answers, right? That is one of the problems in many of the LLMs. So even this system from avoid those things. Like you can say that if you don't know, just mention that you don't know the answer. Or if it is being asked, it is, if you want to make your chat a domain specific, your organization specific, you can ask, like if at all, other than anything or other than this thing, or you are a sports chatbot, so if at all something is asked again or other than sports, just say you don't know or you don't want to answer. So similarly, it's like a kind of, it asked, it's just an it asked a very random question about who am I, and it said I don't know. But if you try this with normal models, it will, sometimes it will give you a reply, some creative replies. Okay, but as soon as these models are growing, as soon as this we are getting some new models, these are very much taken care. But this system prompts are very useful when you build a kind of LLM based applications, and when you build a chatbot or enterprise chatbot, this system prompts plays a very important role to set up the context for that chat. We will see this. Of course, you need to be, as I said, when you create your, or when you write your prompts, you should say, if you don't know the answer, don't hallucinate the answers. You should say that you don't know. Make your tone always light, smarter, like lighter in tone. Should not get into a kind of argument sort of, or you should not keep that negative tone as such. Of course, the jailbreaks and all, don't worry about this, we will see in that workshop, so it will give you a very nice picture what we were talking about, the responsible AI. Context window is something um, you must have observed, right? Like see, it doesn't, when you chat with an AI bot or when you chat with the models, the first prompt which goes in and the second prompt, you get a reply. Sorry, for you just enter the text as an input and you get a response. Okay, so it doesn't keep the context as such, like what you have asked other. This is basically happens when you want to build a conversational chatbots. Okay, so how you deal with that? So this is a very smart, or one of the best approach which is being taken care. Like your first input, the output, and when you pass on the second input, along with your second input, even the first input and the what was the your conversational history kind of, that also goes on with the second input. Okay, so when the response comes in, it comes with third. Like, are you getting me? The first input, output, the second input, added those things. So in that particular stuff, but yes, you have to keep in mind that there are some threshold values for sending this input number of tokens, because whatever you send it, whatever text, it converts into tokens, right? So the number of tokens deals with even with the pricings, and all the models have some threshold with this APIs. Okay, when you call these APIs, they have some threshold figures, like this model will deal only with this number of tokens at one time. So you have to keep this context window in a way wherein you can pass your system prompts and the number of context along with your new prompts, but it should be within that particular threshold values. Okay, so as you can see, this is the number of token count, and this is kind of max token limit which was set up. So uh, you can see how that thing is getting erased from the first step. Like, it is not always you need to pass the entire stuff, but you can give a number of set of earlier conversation to make it mature. So even yeah, so different models have this different token stuff or token limits, but I believe you need to, I would prefer that you go to the website for checking the latest number of tokens which are accepted. uh, so just a quick takeaway, like of course this models will won't replace the developers. A biggest thing which comes up um, when using the models. Okay, uh, make sure what your model is capable of, like till which year that particular model is being trained, so that will help you to deal with that model efficiently. Okay, um, about the prompts, like it should be a kind of detailed one, not in that particular detailed one, but it should give some examples for your better output. Okay, now when you're trying to build any AI applications, this prompt tuning is always plays a key role. Okay, you are basically these are very few kind of recommendation, you can say. There are bit strategy to select the models which you are using. So it is always recommended that you use some high models at the first stage, start prompting, see whether you are getting a proper or desired result, and now subsequently start coming down with the model size or with the model versions, and see if you get the same response. So the time you get your if your response gets changes which you don't want actually, that is what how the you can select the models. Okay, now the main part start. Fine, so if you can go to this link please, I will keep this screen for a few minutes. John, and please once you log into this, I will show you what to
Okay,
do
just
next.
a moment. I'll
Just
try
see,
that as well.
just log into this particular URL, or you can scan for logging in. Yeah,
Let me
please.
type it
So once you get into
into
that
the chat
browser,
as
let
well,
me
so
know.
it's
So I
easy.
will switch my slides.
Sorry about that. Give me a moment.
Yeah, please, please. Yeah, please.
Hang on. I'll just put it into the chat itself, and I'll just click on the link myself. Yep, it says login to GitHub on the top right hand corner.
Yes. So it will, you will go to this AI playground, AI proxy playground. So we have created this just for
Not
today's
yet. We are
workshop.
still showing
I
the
believe you can
QR
see my
code,
screen, right?
Kasam.
Browser.
Just a moment. Yeah. Yep. If you could just quickly share
Okay.
the screen.
So let me share it
Guys,
again.
when you click on the link that I've shared in the chat, it will require
Screen.
you
Yeah.
to also what we call get a device verification code. So depending on which
Yeah.
email account that you use, please be patient to receive the device verification code before you key that in.
Okay, so it depends upon how you have, basically you have to log in from here, okay, using your GitHub account, and just try to, once you logged in, it will ask you to read the terms, and there will be a small button here below for clicking register. just register and follow the process, and you will land up to this page where you can get the key, this key and endpoint. So as of now, we don't need this endpoint. This is basically when we do some coding related stuff. May I know how many people are
I
there, like
believe we have 14 that
attending
are
the
attending,
session
including
now?
us.
Okay, because I have created
Okay.
this for
I think it would just work
around
perfectly
50
fine.
to
Not
60
an issue at all.
attendees at a time.
Kasam?
So
Yep.
if it comes,
Not to worry.
okay, okay,
Yep.
okay, fine. It should not get.
So,
Yeah.
anybody still have any technical challenges on getting to this page that Kasam is actually showing, which is the Big Data Day screen? So we scroll down, there is the details there. That's correct. So that's something that we need to copy onto a tag,
This API key, right? Yeah. Yeah. So now,
right?
you need to go to this AI proxy playground. You have to now navigate it. Copy the AI key.
So we need to copy to the clipboard first before we click on the AI playground.
Yes. Yeah. So you can
Then it
always
will
open in
open
some
up
new
the Azure AI proxy.
new tab.
Yeah, the Azure
So it will
AI
be,
proxy
you will look
playground
like
screen.
this
That's correct. So that's the screen that we are
proxy
showing for the
playground,
moment. Yeah.
and you can see the big data
Hope
days.
everybody's following. Yep.
Yeah. Now here you should enter your API key. There must be a text box for entering the API key here. Once you clicked it, it will show you this logout button. Then are you able to
I
do that?
managed to do mine. It was very straightforward, Kasam. Just copy
Just
and
copy
paste and then
this.
go to the tab itself.
Yeah.
And it has actually
Yes.
shown that it is now showing the logout button on the top right hand corner, which means I am actually in the screen, the playground itself.
Logout button.
Very straightforward.
Okay. Cool. So let me know if all the attendees have reached to this stage,
Comfortable
and we can
following
proceed.
on this? Yep. We'll
Yeah.
just, I think, give them another a few
Yeah. Sure.
seconds. Everybody all good? Okay. Okay, I think we should be good to go, Kasam. I think let's
Okay.
proceed to the next step to showcase the
Okay.
workshop
So I'm
itself. Yep.
pasting one more link. It is not required as such, but for after this session, you can yourself go through the entire workshop. So it's an just a link
Yep.
for that workshop. Okay. It's what we are.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for
Yes.
sharing that details.
Okay. So
Yep.
basically, this is what is just a proxy playground Okay, but you will get a very similar kind of interface when when you have or when you deal with Azure OpenAI service. Okay, so there is an Azure OpenAI playground. In that, when you create a service, when you create an instance of that service in the Azure portal, and you get lands up into Azure OpenAI playground, and it is very much, you can say, similar clone or similar stuff with that particular interface. Okay, so we have just created this proxy playground for the workshop thing, and how to see this basic prompts and how you deal with the models, how this model changes the response and all. Okay, so this is just to make you familiar of this playground. The very first thing what you need to do is select the models. Now for this today's workshop, I have added this GPT 3.5 turbo. So you need to select this first, okay, in your window, so that whatever we do, at least it will get some model to deal with. Now keep this parameters as such. These are some of the technical parameters basically used for tuning, or basically used for optimizing or refining your prompts. So we'll see one by one when we start the things. We'll come to that uh, this section and everywhere. I'm just giving you and making you friendly with this workshop as such. So this is where you will enter your prompts every time. Okay, now few things to remember. After every prompt, you whenever you get the result, please click on this clear. Okay, while clicking on this clear, what happens is it will create a new session. Otherwise, if you not click the clear, it will keep on sending whatever your first chat as a part of your new chats. Okay, you remember that context window sort of the first output, second output, first output, second output kind of. So basically, after every prompt and when you get the result, just click on clear to make sure that you get a new response as such. Now we talk about something known as system prompts, right? User prompts. So this is user prompt which will we be talking about, or which we will be pasting as an input or passing as an input, and this is that system prompt. So there is something known as default prompt which we have added, like you are an AI assistant that helps people find information. I will say that just delete that and click on update system message. So make it blank as such for the start one. Okay, we will do those things. So keep it blank. First thing, keep this blank. Select the model. Okay, don't touch this as of now. This is OpenAI function. I will not discuss about OpenAI function as such in today's workshop. It's a bit kind of advanced or secondary stuff with the prompt engineering. We'll deal with the basics one now. Okay, so to start with, I have given you one link. Okay, so you can also go through that link later to know more about it. So it has explained everything, what it does and all those stuffs. Okay, so now, so you have selected the model. Make sure that you clear the chat sessions. uh, if you want, you can open this workshop, this browser at your end also, to copy the prompts as is, or I would prefer to write to your own prompts. I will give you this prompt as an example. I will show you this prompts as an example, but you can yourself write some prompts which you think or which comes up to your mind at that time to get a proper response or to understand in much better manner. Okay, so let's start with the basic prompting. Okay, so now, uh, a simple stuff, a very simple stuff. What is capital of Australia? Let's see if it replies. It's Canberra. You can uh, enter anything. What is capital of your country, wherever you have joined from, and you can see if it is replying. So if it replies, then every your setup is working fine. You have selected the right models, and everything is running fine. So let me know, or just ping that it is done or it's working fine. And John, please let me know
Yeah, sure,
if
Kasam.
they
I
are
think
able
let's
to
give
get the
the
response
rest
from the
of the
models.
participants an extra minute or two. I think Vincent just gave us the thumbs up. Vincent? Sam is Charlotte as
No,
well. Yep, I think they're good. They're able to do that
okay,
for
go.
a number of
Fine.
people as well.
So now
Yep.
okay, fine, fine. No, I just wanted to see like whether they are getting the first response. That's fine. Now they can get all the response. So that's not an issue. I just wanted to see whether all the setups are done. That's it. Now, as I said, now this is what is prompts. Okay, now we will keep doing the things. Now as we go to the further work, the modules, we will see how that prompting tunings are happening. Okay, now as I said, after you get the response, just make sure you click on clear so that the new session starts. Now, mm, okay, I will just read this out. So it is just about saying like how the different prompts work. Now we have just asked the capital. Now it is something asking to create a recipe, sort of, you know. So whether it gives recipe. So this basically this exercise are very basic prompts to understand like how different prompts and different how the models react to the different prompts. Like when it asked about the country capital, it gave in the country capital name, and now it's asking for some recipe, and we got a nice recipe. Let's clear it. Let's see what's the next one. Respond the movie name, la 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 la. Now see here it is like ranking it from first to 10. So we are giving some kind of actions in the prompt. We are saying that we need to have top 10 movies, respond in a form of list and all. Let's see how it follows. So it gave, I don't know whether it's a top movies, but it gave some movies. Okay, and it is in the form of list. So how we are changing the way of outputs. Okay, the response, how the response are changing. Now we come to some kind of code. Now it is like write a Python function to calculate the nth prime number. So first we asked for one word content, then we asked to create some big content like recipe, then we gave when then we asked something, but in a targeted, in a structure way, like whether we want in a list form or something. It gave in list. Now we are asking for some code, and the code is coming in, right? So these are very basic prompts. Okay, but just to show how how this models are responding based on what prompts you are setting in. So it was earlier, it was a very simple prompt. Then you asked for some creating some recipes. Then you asked again with some question, but you said like I want in a list format. I want only top 10 from which year and all those stuffs. Okay, and later you ask some for code, and accordingly the output got changes, right? Now let's create some novel content like kind of rhyming a poem for a Python language. Okay, now the interesting part will come. Just uh, notice the responses, huh? So there once was a language called Python. Its syntax was simple and quite fun, with indentation so clean and library serene. It made coding a joy of anyone. Fine. So it's a simple uh, rhyming kind of poem for Python. Now what I will do, I will clear this. I will send it again. Same prompt. Let's see what the response is. Very much same, right? With some here and there. So understand these models are very stochastic in natures. Okay. Now what this mean is like whenever you will not be getting the same reply always for same prompt. Like I have given the same prompt twice, but the response was slightly different. Okay, so every time you pass on the prompts, you will get some different replies, and this is what it is known as like stochastic in nature. Okay, so to deal with this, there is something known as temperature. Okay, there is something known as temperature. Now this temperature lies from 0 to 1. Now the more it is 0 from 0, the more this randomness of getting the response will be high. You give 0 and it will give you some very different answers. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that you can delete. Um, uh, sorry, sorry, my mistake. Like the more it is lower, like it is 0, the more it will give you a repetitive kind of response. As you increase the temperature, it will start giving you more creative one, or different or unexpected sort of thing. So you can read the definitions from here, like what it does in 0, what it does in 1. So now what we'll do, I have given it as 0, and I will again give the same prompt. So now let's read this. There is one. Once the language name Python is syntax was clean, fine. Okay, it is still 0. Syntax is clean, is quite fun. So it is very much same, right? The first line is almost same. There is one language name Python, syntax was clean. Now what we'll do is we'll keep it as 1. Let's clear it. Let's send it again and see. You can try it out with your own prompts. Huh? Use the same prompt again and again, and just keep on changing this temperature and see how it differs in response. Okay, now we got this. Let me send it again with syntax that seem to be right, then again, then lighten. Okay, see what it does now. Lighten the load and made all the language. So it's now bit some different answers, right? So this is what this temperature deals with, and it is always recommended to have this temperature as zero point 0.7 for a better reasons. Okay, not too low, not too high, kind of. Zero point 0.7 is always recommended. Oh, temperature is done. Okay. Let's. Okay, that poem was quite big. We will use this a unique and long name for a cat and try it out. So, one disclaimer, like this temperatures basically works very. This effect can be more visible in GPT-4, but we are using 3.5. So it may happen that it might and might not work as expected, but you can very well see the difference. Now I've kept it. I will keep it as 0. I will pass on, write a unique long name for a cat. Wow. Serafina Celestia Whisker Bottom. Okay, fine. Let me clear it. Let me send again. Same, right? It's coming very much same. Again, it's very much same. Let's keep it 1. Let's see if it gives some creative answers. Maxian Bartholomo. Okay, third. Let's again send it. Totally different name now. Just this is same. One more. Totally different. So see how it worked when we kept it at 1. All the 3 were some different one, but when we kept it at 0, it was very much or literally same thing. So let's keep it as 7. So before moving to next part, make sure that you clear it and keep this as 7. But when we keep this as 7, see how it shows. Rutherford. Fine. So this is what this temperature does. Similarly, this top P, but you can do it later. You can just read. It is very much same, and you can try out with your different prompts, changing this. Okay, but as of now, make sure all the parameters are with this 256.7.9, and this is cleared. Okay, fine. Now, what's next? Okay, so useful prompts. So basically, what happens is this, as I said, these models have some limitations, rather number of limitations. So one is, of course, about the training data. So every model has a end date, like for the training data, and if you ask something after any information after that date, it can hallucinate with the answers. Okay, it will give you some wrong answers. Okay, now it can generate a human language sort of thing, but it cannot give you reasoning sort of like humans. We will see. We will see. We have some examples below. Okay. Uh, so for example, we'll start as, because the models which we are using right now was trained up to June 2021. Okay, and I believe Queen Elizabeth II died after that. Okay, so let's ask this question to the model, like when did Queen Elizabeth II die, and let's see what it replies. See what it's saying. So as of my knowledge, update in September is still alive. However, it always back to check. So it gave you wrong information, right? It's still alive, right? So this is one of the limitation. We are showing like how this model sometimes work in a wrong. It can give you a wrong answers and all. So this is where you need to strategize your selection of models before creating an application or choosing any models when you are trying to build a Gen AI based applications or LLM based applications. Okay, now let's see how it deals with the square root of this prompt. So why we are using this model? So why we are using this prompt? So this model will generate an answer to maths question, but there is no guarantee it will be correct, of course. So the correct answer here should be 314. Chat, just clear it before submitting, and if you get same answers, blah 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 blah. Okay, before let's me clear this. What is the square root? Let's see. 314139. See, 139. Right. 299. 342. Got it? Now we can ask write a Python code, calculate, and it will do a good job. Let's see. Clear first and then send it. So it will write a Python code. Okay, so before it is like before answering, earlier we were just asking the square root. Now before asking before getting the square root, we are asking it to write a Python code. Okay, so it's not now calculating, and it's like 314117. Let's clear it and again ask it. Let's see if it gives the right answer. No, a different answer altogether. Let's check again. Same answer. Okay, now we were talking about the reasoning, okay, or the conditioning, like this one, this point. Not capable of reasoning or cognition, but it the text that resembles human language. Now we'll check it here. Sorry, we'll ask some kind of puzzle question like, we Stephen is my uncle, Stephen has two children, this and this, he's my aunt, then what is the name of his mom, and kind of. So basically but the model cannot reason about the relationship between the people and may be able to solve it, but more advanced GPT more likely to get answer right. GPT-4 and all does give the right answer, but let's see whether our turbo will give the right answer or not. I'm purposely reading out this because this is how the things will go. Okay, why we are using this prompts, what should be the result, how the thing. So it will make you more understand, and I hope the same workshop is open at your end also, so you can read at your pace. But I need to complete in next 45 minutes, and there are many interesting things lined up. So I'm a bit rushing, but you have both the things with you, even the playground and even the workshop thing. So you can go on your pace. Fine. So let's see whether it answers this. Let me clear it first. I don't know what the answer is. Okay, so it answered. Let's see if it answered again. Okay, so it's answering. So not an issue. So turbo is good than 3.5. Okay, so that's the reason we are getting the answers, but that's fine. Now, so okay, we have cleared the contents. Please clear the contents when it's done. Okay, now this is something to see that these models cannot do or cannot perform the live actions. Live action in the sense, if I ask some get some stocks or what is the current score between any, for just example, there are some cricket matches going on. So if I write that get the top five batsmen or the top five bowlers from the series and all, the details which are in on the website, the live details which are on the website, it doesn't perform the kind of that particular actions. So here the prompts, if you can see, it is asking what are the five stocks listed on, and it has given the it has also given the link, okay, the from where it needs to get this stocks. So although this model will respond, it can give some answer, okay, but this may be the wrong one. So basically these models are not capable of performing these actions, okay. So they can't actually visit the web page and read the list. So it's very possible that it may stop you saying that I don't know, or it may give you some data. Let's see what it does. I've copied this, I've cleared this. Let's see. Cool. It's not giving you the answer. But basically sometimes what happens if you use 3.5 or text DaVinci and all those models, it will give you some five names with the list. Let's see if it does. Sorry, I'm not able to access specific web provider. However, you can easily find the information visiting the website. Again, we'll ask it. Let's see. Because yesterday when I was going through this workshop, when I was preparing for this, it gave me some nice five names, okay, and now it is saying okay, I'm not able to do that. So it's learning, so it's quite good, it's fine. You can try it, try out with some different actions, not this. Okay, now um, completions are not always the facts, okay. Now this happens, now you can see, notice this prompt. Notice this prompts, like write a short arbitrary for the poet now and include references. Now this person doesn't exist. Okay, this see, there have been a poet. There have never been a poet, nor indeed a person, according to web search. This, as a result, the model guarantees text in a form of this, but grounded in facts. Even the requested reference, while convincing, look real. So yesterday it was giving me some nice poetry, but not sure because it is behaving something good now. Maybe I am using the same playground because I was using yesterday also and I haven't logged out. So there is something happening behind the scene, but it you may experience that it will give you some answer. But make sure this system message is blank. Huh? If it is written there that AI assistant part, it may stop you. So make sure this is blank and let's see what it does. Oh, see, okay, it gave me the answer. Now, as I said, this guy doesn't exist, okay, but see the way it is replying me. It seems to be so real, right? It also given some references with the names and years and everything. And always, if you, I believe, again next time, let's see what it does. That time he was born in 1821. Now it is 1946. So this is something like your completions, the completions which are given by the models as a response are not always the fact. Okay, so this is why this happens, why all these factors depends, like it is because of the insufficient information, of course, because the dates varies, so accordingly the information goes in as a part of training data. Some part of even the prompts, the context which we have not set as I said, you to delete that system message that I'm an AI assistant and all. So that context was not that sufficient. If I would have given, we will see when we give the system message how it changes the response. Okay, the lack of capability of model, of course, as I said, number of different models have their own capabilities. Okay, and hostile intent for user providing the prompt, that jailbreaking, we'll see this. Now information extraction. Okay, now how this can be done. So this is the prompt now, wherein we will give the entire text and we will say what all things we need to have from that particular, or what we want from that particular text. So here is the example. Okay, we have given some paragraph and we are now giving a simple prompt like extract the person name, company name, location, phone number from the text below. This is a simple thing, and we have given the text below. Now the people who have used ChatGPT must know this how the things are extracted. Okay, so here it gave the person name, the company name, okay, from this from the above one, about text. Now we will have this result in a kind of some structured way. Okay, now let's do this example, and what it is, please create a table summarizing the fruit from this. So it has some fruits, so now it will create a table. Okay, let's clear this. So now here we, in the prompt, we have given the target format, like in which format we want the result as. Okay, initially we said just extract the names and all, it gave in that form. Now we said like create a table. Now we will ask for some JSON stuff. Please also make a JSON. Now make sure like we will not be clearing this, because we want to use this above input. Okay, so what we are saying, that please also make a JSON array summarizing the fruits. So now, as we have not cleared, it knows from where it needs to get the data, and see. Right. So this is how you can change your formats or your target response in your prompts. Text classification. Fine. See, this is the same example. Okay, when we saw that few shots kind of. So this is, if you see this example closely, this is one shot prompting, because it is giving only one example. So here it has given the uh, headlines, and it is asking to find the categories. Okay, so let's give in this form. So here what we are doing, we are doing a one shot prompting sort. Let's see what it replies. So ours was major retailer announces plan to close, and it gave the category as business. Fine. Now let's skip changing this. Okay. Sorry. I will not clear it. I will just say this because we have already given one example, and let's just pass on the headlines now. So the category is sport. Good. So we just gave one example, and now it is working. Okay, we'll see this, what happens. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we gave this 20 process offers more density, and it gives tech category as tech. Now let me clear this and again paste the same prompt. Let's see what it replies. You saw? It replied something else. Now it's not replying the category because it doesn't even have that context behind like what example we gave and what we are doing. It's a fresh one. So when it gave, we didn't give any, it's a kind of zero shot one. So we directly got some response based on this. So this is where the example and context matters. Okay, text summarization. This one very important stuff, and you will use it many a times. And this is basically, the use case wherein you get a customer feedbacks or product reviews and all. So you can use those things and reviews and just summarize in a short one, and you can find out the sentiments, like whether the reviews are positive, whether the feedbacks are positive and all. So you have many books coming across, so you can input that books content of that book, summarize in a short way, and then find the. So there are many use cases. I'm just giving you one or two examples. So here what we are doing is we are just putting on this big text, and you have to just add this. So what it is, too long, didn't read. Okay. So in the end, just add this and you will get the summary. So this was our input, and this is the short summary. Okay. Now there are many more interesting stuff in this prompt engineering stuff. There is a link to this article on Microsoft Learn, and it is very free. So you can after this session or after today's event, you can just go and click over there and see more about it. Now let's go to the next module, that is conversation history. Let's see ourselves how we can. So here what we will be doing is uh, it's like okay, it's sent to remember the context of the conversation. Okay, so this I explained you, right? The trick is to give the foundation model the whole chat history at each turn, okay, and not just the latest prompt, but the user will not see it. So this is what it happens. So now we will not clear the stuff. First clear this. Now it's a very fresh one. Okay. Now how many? Just see. We already saw this, but again, as a part of this exercise, let's do that. So it says how many neurons are in the hydrogen nucleus. Okay. It will say mostly 0. So hydrogen nucleus, also known as proton, does not contain any neutrons. It only consists of 1 protons and no neutrons. Okay, now what we are doing, without clearing the chat session, we will just go to the next question. What about isotopes? So now it knows the context behind the conversation, that we are conversing something. We are talking about hydrogen nucleus. What did the system replied? Now what we are asking. So the answer will be based on these things. See, you are absolutely right. I mean, so while the most common form of hydrogen known as this so and so, so and so. Now what we'll do is uh, we'll clear the things. The agent will respond answer involving so and so. Okay. Now the key here is sending previous prompts back into the next. Provide the model with more context and grounding, therefore providing a more valuable answer. Now clear the session and ask the same question. Now let's clear this and ask. We did this in previous exercise also, right? About the categories and all, and we saw that it totally start with some different stuff. See, not giving some different answer and not based on what we have asked about the hydrogen and all. Okay, so you have some assignment, so which you can do yourself, having a conversation. So have a conversation with the model and try to make model remember what was your name and what was your birth date. So what you can do is, you can initially you can enter that my name is so and this. Then you can ask something else question, and then again you ask something which the response should the model should give your name and birth date in some of the part as a response. Okay, so if it is a conversation sort of without clearing that particular history, it will definitely gives you out. Okay, so it's an assignment, you can do that. Now the prompt engineering techniques, this also we did about the zero shot and all. So we can skip this. Of course, this is the few short one. Okay, let's do this. So this was the topic. Okay, if you remember, this was the same thing which was on our slide. So it gave basketball now. Okay, we did this, so we can very well skip. You can do this later. We saw. See, this is the zero shot one. Okay, there is no example. See, classify the text into neutral, negative, positive. It has directly given the text and no sentiments as such, like no example as such, and asking for the sentiments. Let's see what it does. Sentiment of my text, my calendar took. So it's a kind of, there is no example needed. You can get the answer. Okay. Then we saw about that one shot, because that headlines where we saw the categories, and now here is an example of few shots. Let's to break the task down. Okay, so what happens in this techniques? So basically the users are responsible, okay, for breaking the task down into smaller steps. So then LLM then follows the user instruction to complete the task. Okay, like you are famous poet who wants to write a poem about this. We will be writing in this in the system message. Okay, so here we are setting up the context. Just paste it here. So you are a famous poet who wants to write a poem about a flower. You will be given instruction on how to complete the task. Just write this and click on update system message. Okay, now use this prompts. So it has given some instructions. You will be identifying the main features. So while writing this poem, what you need to do, you are just explaining it here as if in a form of prompts. So features of flowers, choose a flower to write about, brainstorm some ideas, write a draft, identify the main feature of flower. So this identify some these features. See, there are set of instructions. Okay, let's see. You should get a nice poem. Okay, so it identified some things accordingly. It choose the flower rose as rose. It brainstorms some ideas. A draft of the poem is this. Revised poem is this. Published poem is this. Okay, this was all based on this instruction. So what you do is you try to write something else, give some different instructions and see how it works. Okay, so this is what is known as breaking down the task. You let the LLMs know how you need to give the how you need to conclude the output. Okay, you need to show them how you need to detail them, like how you want your output to be calculated or how you want your output to be formed. Chain of thoughts. Cool. This is a very interesting one again. So here it is again the breaking down of tasks into smaller steps. LLM uses its knowledge of word, ability to reasons. LLM then generates a chain of thoughts that leads to the solution of the task. Okay. Now let's first click this to the result reset default value. So will come the you are an AI assistant and helps clear this. Okay, make this the default one again. And now was the first person to move on the moon text. See, let's read the prompt here. Who was the first person to walk on the moon? Take a step by step approach in your response. Cite sources and give reasoning before sharing a final answer. Answer is. So it's giving how the answer should be. So it is giving, see, answer is, and what it needs to do, a step by step approach kind of. Now we will expect some answer. Let's see. So first step was who was the first person to walk on moon? Neil Armstrong. Here are the step by step approach. So what was the step one? Cite resources. It provided you some resources. Give reasoning before sharing the final answer. Okay, the reason, and the final answer was in this format. So basically this is basically used for the calculation sort of prompts or calculation sort of inputs, the maths calculation and all. So if you give the step by step approach to how to calculate the things, it very well do in the same way and give you the correct answer. Here is also you have an assignment. Make sure you do this assignment. So like you follow this, whatever what we are doing right now, but make sure you complete this assignment. You have the access of this playground, I believe, till today. So make most out of it. If you don't have Azure OpenAI access, if you have Azure OpenAI access, you can go to that playground and do the things, selecting the models. But if you don't have the access, you can very well use this. Make the best use of today's event. Now the system message. Okay. Um, System message is used to communicate instruction or provide context to the model at the beginning of the conversation. Okay, so it sets up the context. It also set the tone of your conversation which is going to happen. So with the models, so it display different format. You can set like all the response should be in a HTML format. All the response should always be in a JSON format for once. Okay, uh, basically you are setting up the role for the models in your conversation. You can set the behavior, tone, desired output of the models which we saw earlier, right? So let's see what examples here, right? The system message field, insert, update system message. Okay, just copy it and paste it here. So it is like I am hiking in enthusiast name forest. So it is giving some setting of some context. See, I am an upbeat and friendly. I introduce myself when first saying hello. So when you say hello, it will introduce. Okay, when helping people, I always ask them for this information, where they are located, what is the hiking, and just click this first. Okay, we will see based on the response how what all things we have written. So if you observe the system message, it gives the assistant name forest, a personality upbuilt and friendly, and instruction on how to behave, like introduce myself, ask them the information, how to respond, provide 3 suggestions. Okay, now let's see in the chat. Okay, we'll start with hello. Okay, let me clear this. Hello. So when someone greets, it says, okay, I am Forest, your friendly hiking. So it started introducing itself. Okay, now hi, I'm looking for a. Okay, so you write, just write your name. I'm looking like near my city, Mumbai. Now take a dog with me. Let's see what it replies. It may give 3 suggestions. See, so it started greeting with my name, right? Gave 3 suggestions. Correct. This is how you set the context. Now you can very well change the tone. Okay, your model, like any piece of technology, is like your brand. So what you want to have some approach and ethics, you will still be in code of conduct. Setting a segment around tone within your system message can help your response. Okay, so now you will set a polite one. We need to set it here, the system message, update it, and let's ask this from how can you help me. So you are friendly and polite. You can make it change as sarcastic or something. Don't make it more aggressive or something. Let's see. You are a sarcastic chatbot. We copy this and let me ask it again. How can help you? Let's see how it replies now. I can help you discover to get started. Could you please let me know you are located, what your hiking intensity you are looking for? Let me remove this. You are a sarcastic chatbot. That's it. And now I will see what it replies. Oh, I can provide you with sarcastic remarks. You never knew you needed. You are welcome. Okay, so the tone got changed. Okay, overall with based on this system message. I believe we
Do
still have
have some
15 minutes, right,
questions for you. If you,
John?
yeah, yeah, for
No,
us
no,
to
no,
wrap
no.
up very quickly, and then we need to
15.
take
We
some
have still
questions.
15 minutes, right? Ah, okay, okay. So that's the reason. Okay, so basically you have this link with you. You have a playground with you. Okay, so you just follow these instructions. Whatever we just went to the slide, it has all the things. This is a very interesting stuff, a safety feature. There is something known as Azure AI content safety. So what it does, if it detects, it tries to detect any harmful or violent content in your prompts, and accordingly it will stop you from getting interacting with the models as such. Okay, there are many. You can learn more about this content safety studio also, where you can deal with different prompts and all. You can check how the things are, evaluate the things before it comes to your applications as such. So for example, um, if you see, I need an axe to cut a path to the forest. Let me bring this. Let me go to the result default one quickly. Okay, so it gave me the answer. I need an axe to cut a path. Now, if I enter that I need an axe to cut a person in the forest, see what it will reply. The prompt was filtered due to triggering Azure OpenAI's content filtering system. Reason, the prompt contains flagged as violence. Okay, so this is a very interesting one, the content safety part. A few things I wanted to show, and then the jailbreak stuff. Okay, these are the parts of the responsible AIs. You can go through these prompts and see the result. These are some of the assignments given here. Okay, add knowledge. Okay, so this is all about RAG. We have not covered this in our slide, but you can very well go through this. RAG is nothing but setting up the models with a set of data. Basically, it could be your organizational data, or it could be a domain specific data, and searching the result from that particular data and not from the entire training data which the LLM has. Okay, it's a very interesting topic. RAG, RAFT. RAG is retrieval augmented generation. There is something known as RAFT, which is retrieval augmented fine tuning, which is for a better RAG. Okay, so I don't want to get into those things, but these are the parts of prompt engineering and very interesting stuff. We can have that webinar sometime else. But you have the detailed stuff, you have the prompts also, so you can go through it and learn more about it. So what I will do is I will just stop it now. Just there are many things, functions calling. So you have this, you will not get this create images because we are not using Delhi. We are using chat gpt 3.4 turbo, but you can still learn or see how this things happens, um, and how these models are there. And yes, you are at home, so you it has a quite good sort of modules with you. Okay, so just go through it. It will definitely help you to give for a nice gist about how to interact with the models. So by this, I will
Right.
just
Thank you for
stop
that
as of now and
interesting.
take up your questions. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Kasem, for
You're
your
not audible.
patience and taking
Yes,
us
now it's
through
audible.
that
Yeah.
very hands-on kind of a learning on this prompt engineering. We do have a few questions in the chat box. Allow me to project them on the screen. Yep, no worries. So one of the questions that
Okay, I
was
will stop
being
sharing
asked
screen.
is actually from
Okay.
Sarah, which actually is asking, can we train the model with the latest data? I think this is a very interesting question, as we saw just now, right? Like ChatGPT 3.5, there was a cutoff date, and ChatGPT 4 was a different cutoff date. So I think the question is, can we train it with the latest data? What's your thoughts on this one?
See, See, we can very well train it with the
Mm,
latest data, but before training it with the
right.
latest data, there are two things you need to remember. Like which data you want to train. Is it something domain specific data? Is it something specific to your organization? It is something specific to your use case. If that is the thing, there are
Mm,
many things which are already in picture, that is RAG and all. You can definitely do that. If you want to train it
mm,
just with the latest entire web data, it will cost you very heavily. It needs
right.
very heavy compute. It needs very high configuration to do so. But instead of doing so, I would recommend, like, try to figure out some new models, uh, the LLM based models, the open source models, which gives the last training dates. Usually
Right.
the last training dates they are up to. So there are many models in the market which are up to date in the sense, not
Mm,
I'm talking about till yesterday, but there could be with January 2024 or something. So in that case you can directly use that model. So rather than uh, thinking of training it with the latest entire vast data, it will cost you heavily. But yes, you can do that. That is something known as fine tuning and all those stuff, where you can use an LLM foundation models, the LLM models, and try to make it more accurate with your data. But the advisable stuff is to find already the released models from different vendors with the latest things.
got it. Got it.
Make
So
sure you
I think
do the RAG
that's a
and all
very
those stuffs.
practical advice that you're giving
Hope
to
this
our
answers the
audience here.
question.
Let's move on to the next question. Right. So allow me to project it. This is from Ruby. Is there a way to make sure that the AI model we use gives a fair result to everyone? Because I think just now we noticed, right? Every time when we put in perhaps the same prompt, it kind of gives a slightly different answer, right? So even when the prompt and training data might have some biasness in them. So how could we address this
Right.
question to make sure that it is giving a fair result? Kasem, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So absolutely, very good question. So
Mm,
see, this is where the thing comes in into picture, that is prompt engineering. Okay. So you need to provide a proper context. You need to set a tone. Okay, when you
right.
say fair, you need to set the tone of your models, the response of the models in the system prompts. Okay, you need to add the content safety part, where it doesn't go with some kind of negative thoughts. You need to maintain that. If you maintain, or if you adhere to
Mm,
the responsible AI principles, this will be very much in your favor.
yes,
And what about, and the question about the hallucination sort, you can very well write that if you don't know the answer, don't say, just reply with saying that you don't know the answers. Give it kind of step by step approach to give the response. Give your thoughts, like if at all
correct,
how to approach any
correct.
particular questions which are coming in, that we saw chain of thoughts, breaking of the thing step by step. So following all this
Right,
will
right. So
definitely
I
give
think
you a
that's a
very
good answer. I
results
think
into very
as you
fair
have demonstrated earlier
replies.
on during the workshop, I think there is a way to kind of
Yes.
to safeguard it, but I think we just
Yeah.
need to do that in a step by step manner. Right.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next question.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, and just want to add one thing. So there is something in this LLM,
Mm,
life cycle, development life cycle. There is something known as evaluations. Okay, testings and evaluations of the model. So where you can check the behaviors of your models after fine tuning, or after grounding the models, or after adding some basic prompts, after adding the system prompts, and you can test your models with different prompts. You can evaluate them, like how it is responding, whether it is responding in a fair manner, whether it is responding in the manner which you don't want, and
right.
accordingly in that particular step in that life
Right.
cycle you
I'll,
can
I'll
very
just
well
move on to
deal
the
with
next
this.
question. Thanks for that, Kasam.
Hope this
So
yeah.
the next question is from one of the attendees, which is
Yes, yes.
anonymous. So the question is
Yeah.
asking, are there any emerging trends or advancement in the prompt engineering that you find it really exciting or promising based on your
Yeah, as I said, there is something. Thank you for asking this question. Like, so this will give me opportunity to talk about what interests me most now. So, as I said, there is something known as raft.
Right.
As you must have all heard about RAG, retrieval augmented
Oh,
generation, right? So there is something known as
okay.
RAFT, RAFT, that is retrieval augmented fine tuning, and it's a very interesting topic which is emerging, and it
Ah,
enables you to implement RAG in a better way in your solution. Okay, so there is a research paper altogether. After this session, I will share that link. There is a research paper link. You can very well go through it, and it's a very interesting
right.
stuff which is
Interesting.
coming
I
up.
didn't
And
know that.
I
I
can
think
say
thanks for
it
sharing the
would be a,
details on that, Kasem. I think that's
next
something
big
that
thing coming.
it will be interesting because at the moment I think everybody is a little bit concerned, on how things can be, better fine tuned, especially like biasness and all this thing, right? So I think
Yes.
yeah, I think that will be interesting if we
Yeah.
have those kind of details
Yes.
available. Right. I'm going to project to the next question. So the next question here, again from another anonymous participant on this so-called workshop. They're asking, could you recommend any specific resources for someone looking to further their understanding and expertise in learning about this prompt engineering? So if I'm somebody who's new, what do you recommend, Kasem, for us to so-called get familiar with this specific area? Hmm,
Okay, so there are
oh,
actually many resources, interesting resources,
right,
and that is free resources. Okay, the one is from Microsoft Learn. Okay, if you go to Microsoft Learn
right.
portal and
Mhm.
just search for prompt engineering, you will get, or generative AI, you will get many learning paths, very interesting learning paths, and they are all free. There is something known with deeplearning.ai. If you go to deeplearning.ai courses, there is a full course of 8 hours course for prompt engineering itself. It starts from basics, the very basics, till the chain of thoughts and prompt chunkings and everything. And it just not give you a user interface, but it explains you with Python code. Okay, it creates a
Hmm,
Jupyter notebook and everything. So if you follow that particular 8 hours 6 hours course, you will be able to create all this
right.
a small application based on this prompts and gen AI and everything. So there are, I will recommend Microsoft Learn and deep learning as such. um, Still, I have some set of links
Sure,
with me,
sure.
so I will
Definitely, we will
share it with
definitely
John
send that
so
out.
that you
Yeah.
can get as a part of
Right.
attendees
Let's
after this.
perhaps
So
take one
you can go
more
through it. Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So let me just pick this one. Right. So the question again is from another attendee of the workshop. He's saying that how can individual with diverse background, not necessarily in AI, leverage prompt engineering for perhaps a innovative solution or contribution? So I think this is quite an interesting question. How do we use what we call AI, right, to talk to use prompt engineering in that sense?
Hmm. Mhm. Yeah, it's a very interesting question.
Hmm,
So the answer is, you don't have to do any sort of new things. Okay, whether you are from AI, you're not from AI, it all depends upon what your thoughts are for the innovations. First thing. Second, as I said in start of my session, that the new programming language is our natural language. That is English. Now for
right.
prompt engineering, you need to talk in your natural language. Now that doesn't need to be have a kind of
Hmm,
AI knowledge as such, because you are not doing any AI activity with the model, you are talking with the model, you are just talking in a natural language. So you need to be good into your communication, like
right.
how you should, how what you should talk to
Yes.
the model to get your answers correctly. So you don't have to be an AI expert for that, right? So that this is where the prompt engineering comes up. You need to know, you need to understand what, like
Hmm,
in a very short way or in a very short answer, short question, how will I get more answers, basically. So this is, you don't have to be from the AI background. Yes, when it when AI comes into picture, when you need to you have some problem statements with you, you know what to do, but it comes when you want to how you can do that. So when it comes to how, you need to know the AI concepts and everything for a better stuff, for an
Mm,
you can say a cost effective solutions as such. And there are many things come into picture. But whereas prompt engineering is related, you don't have to be an AI expert. You need to be in your natural language, you need to have good with your communication, you need to understand how your model is reacting, till
right.
what, how, and what will your model react on asking what things.
Mm.
So once you learn your models, that's it, it's all about your natural language.
Great.
If
I
it is
think that's
English, you can
very,
talk in
very
English.
good
That
advice
is only
there.
your programming.
Unfortunately, we are running out of time at this point in time. Thank you, Kasem, for really again for sharing your wisdoms and running through with us. I'm actually going to pop up the screen now on the upcoming session. Now, in the chat itself, Kasem, I hope you don't mind. I've actually shared your LinkedIn profile for the rest of the attendee
Yeah.
to perhaps connect with you if they do have questions to reach out to you on LinkedIn. Yeah, so I've actually shared that as well. Yep, no worries. So I think this is
Yes,
a
yes,
very
yes, yes,
interesting
yes,
topic
definitely.
that
Thank
you
you very
have
much for sharing
guided
that.
us
Yeah.
today.
Thank
Really,
you very
really
much for sharing.
appreciate your time and effort invested in today in sharing those knowledge and nuggets of wisdom with us. Again, guys, we do have the upcoming session on track one. We have
Yeah.
interesting topic on supercharging the LLM and Gen AI retrieval augmented generation RAG with vector database, and another one which is from Eric on reimagining service offering pathway to AI powered enterprise services. Again, Kasem, thank you again for joining us, my friend. Really, really appreciate all the fantastic, I should say, nuggets of knowledge. I've learned a
Thank you,
lot
sir.
of stuff from you today as well. It makes me want to really get started again, to really deep dive into this session because I think everybody would definitely benefit from this. Kasem, thank you